run away like the kid over there. Let's study ionic compound, a chemical bond formed by the transfer of electrons from one atom to the another is called as ionic bond or electrovalent bond. So why transfer from one to another? It can happen vice versa. No, it can't. If Na is given an electron, chlorine has to accept that electron, and then only will a positive and negative charge appear. So a chemical bond formed by the transfer of electrons from one atom to another is called as ionic bond. Similarly, ionic compound formed by the transfer of electrons from a metal to a non-metal are known as ionic or electrovalent compounds. So remember, ionic compounds are only formed between a metal and a non-metal. So let's see what are the properties of these ionic compounds. Starting with the first property, it is formed between a metal and a non-metal. Usually these ionic compounds are salts. I think they are always salts, but who knows? Metals and non-metals most of the time form salts. They have a high melting and boiling point. So, but when we add a salt to water, it melts. It does not melt, it dissolves. Try melting a salt like NaCl. Just put it on your any vessel and try heating it. It will not melt, and it has a high melting point because the force of attraction is very much there. Now, in order to make it a liquid, you have to take the particles apart. But the formation, the attraction is very much there, so it melts at a very high melting point. It is soluble in water but insoluble in organic solvent. The reason is like dissolves like. Ionic compounds can be soluble in water but not in organic solvents. Why? Because organic solvents are covalent compounds. Means they are formed by sharing of electrons, and these ionic compounds, that is NaCl, are formed by give and take of electrons. So they are not going to be soluble in organic solvents like kerosene or maybe alcohols. Good conductor of electricity. It is a very good conductor. How, sir? See, remember positive charge, remember negative charge. These are very good conductors of electricity because of the charges. Also, electrolysis of NaCl. Solid, hard, but brittle. Hard and brittle at the same time. What is hard? It is not by the text. Just because it is hard doesn't mean it is hard. Hard means it is unbreakable, and brittle means it is breakable. Because metals are hard and non-metals are brittle, they are both hard as well as brittle. Example is rock salt found in water. It is hard, but when you hit it with a hammer, it is going to break apart. So it is solid, hard as well as brittle at the same time. Now let's study the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. We've studied distinguish between of metals and non-metals on physical properties. We've grown, we've come to 10th standard. Let's study a little more chemistry. Chemical properties, metals, very simple it is, 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost orbit. So we knew that, everybody knows that. 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. So if there is 1, 2, 3 electrons, what will it do? It will give or take electrons. It will obviously give. If it gives electrons, it is going to form positive ions. Whereas it is going to take electrons, so it is going to form negative ions. Metals can displace hydrogen, so they are going to react with dilute acid to form metal salt. But non-metals are already negative. Will they react with the dilute acid? Generally, they do not react with dilute acids. Metal oxides are basic. Exception is aluminium oxide and zinc oxide, which are amphoteric in nature. Non-metal oxides are acidic and also neutral. Remember, water. So this is the distinguish between metals and non-metals according to the chemical properties. Very important question, can be asked for 2 marks.